everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori and I'm the face behind Entretejidos Crochet. Today's video is everything I made in July. Now, I've decided to add a little bit of a fun element to the video. Before each video, especially if you've been with me through my other vlogs, you might have an idea of what I'm going to show you in today's video. What I want you to leave in the comments down below is your estimate, your guess of how many plushies did I make in July. I wrote them all down and I was really surprised. Now, to be fair, most of them, actually about half of that amount, were all the mini octos, these octos, that I made for a custom order. Regardless, we have a lot of plushies to look at. All of the patterns that I will show you today will be linked in the description box below. If for some reason one of the patterns is not out yet, I will link where you'll be able to find it, be it the designer, or if it's going to be part of a Crochet-A-Long or something like that. If by the time you're watching this video, you still don't see the link to it, leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. Most of the safety eyes that I use are my own. However, if they're not, I will link the designer down below as well in case you would like to grab some of those colors. If you like the colors that I used, you can grab some safety eyes at my Etsy store. And the final spiel is all of my makes are mostly made with some sort of premier yarns, be it cotton, be it blanket yarn, parfait chunky. You'll see a lot of plushies made with parfait chunky. I do have an affiliate link. What this does is that at no extra cost to you, I do earn a little bit of a commission, which just helps me be able to make more and more plushies. With all of that out of the way, let's get started with the patterns that I tested. The first one that I tested was for Cozy Crochet by Tasha. And this is her newest Shabby, or I think it's the odds and ends pals that she calls them. It's for her Shabby Elephant. The whole idea, which is just genius, is to use leftover yarn. And I did cheat a little bit with it in the sense that I kind of not color coded, but like color blocked each of the pieces. So if I started with a neutral for the head, I would pick neutrals to end the head rather than start with like this, with like a brown and then switch over to a red or switch over to a purple. And I kind of like the whole idea of it. I did the same for the body. So I started with a blue. And then I kept, whenever I ran out of that yarn, I would switch to another tone of blue. In terms of shabby animals, I believe she has like a unicorn, a dragon, a puppy. I tested the puppy. I made actually 2 of those and they were a hit for sure. So if you have a lot of scrap leftover yarn in your stash and you would like to make your very own Shabby Elephant, please check out Cozy Crochet by Tasha's Shabby Elephant. The other pattern that I tested is a 3-in-1 pattern, if you will. And it was for Hooked with Love 23's Crochet Tray. This is a genius idea for sure. You can make your tray hollow in the center or have this little knob in the center so that you can attach. It's nice and loopy, and this whole part in the center is so that you can prop up your needles. I even had, in my tester pics, I had 2 safety eyes stuck there with like the backings over here. So it's a very practical sort of project. I made two. I like this one, that it's a bit more like closed up. I can hide things here. There is another variation to this where it's more of a basket. So it's definitely a lot of like bang for your buck. If I'm not mistaken, as I was testing the pattern, I made both in one night. So it could be very, very practical for like teacher gifts, for like back to school things. I'm using this one on the couch when I'm sitting down and assembling a lot of pieces, so that when I cut the yarn, all the yarn ends go here and then I can dump it in my glass jar. Another pattern that I tested, I actually made two, and these are the Trixie the Triceratops Cuddlers by Laser Llama Boutique. I made this one first with basix chenille in tangerine, and this is Tropic Twist. And I added some very big sparkly safety eyes to her. I even added a little bit of like a pop of the same color from here on one of her paws, actually two of her paws. And then the second one I made is with Big Twist Plush and basix chenille. I added the same big glittery safety eyes. And this one has the patches from Laser Llama Boutique. These patches are so cute. And they just add like this, like imagine someone getting a plushie that has like this super cute patch there. I don't know, I love it. It's so cute, it's very unique. You can get those at Laser Llama Boutique's Etsy shop. Let's add a little blurb of honorable mentions here. These are patterns that I can't show you right now because I don't have them anymore. They were either sold or gifted. The first one is I made another Danny Dino. It was an Ankylosaurus, and I made it for a birthday boy that loves green. So it was all green on green on green. Then I made a total of 45 mini autos in different types of yarn. I used basix chenille, bernat blanket. I used Lomere yarns, which is discontinued. It's very similar to Kyla's Crafts Naughty Ball Deluxe, the bigger one. And I made 45 of those. I can only show you like the pictures of how they gifted it to the kids, but yeah. And then the other thing that I made was this keychain. It's actually like a keychain cluster. It was a custom order for my mom. She wanted to have like this very blingy sort of bag charm for her bag, for her purse. So I made the little beaded dangly thingy. We are so specific here. And I also added 2 crocheted flowers to the whole thing, and it just looks amazing. Moving on to patterns that have been in my stash that I've been wanting to make, and I finally got around to making. And it's this very, very tiny, and I mean tiny, Amiatti Axelottle. The pattern is by Lemon Cat Crochet, and she is made with bernat blanket, basix chenille, the pink part. This is basix chenille, and then Little Bunny is the purple and orange fur yarn. And then orange and purple here is also basix chenille. She is by far the biggest make of the month. I think I'm gonna do that for the thumbnail. So have like the smallest make next to the biggest make I have, because I don't know, like once I started writing down all the things that I made in July, I feel so accomplished. So, anywho, Amiatti Axelottle, but the pattern is by Lemon Cat Crochet. She weighs about 3 pounds and she's just so huggable. This pattern is very much not a no-sew pattern. You do have to make all of the pieces and sew them on, but I actually prefer that, you know, some patterns you just need to sew things on so that the placement is correct and it's not like, you know, there's an arm over here and the other arm's like, you know, in another hemisphere or something, because it happens. And it was nice. It did take me about a month and a half to actually make it, because if you remember, I started making her when I made those vlogs for making snugglers and lovies, but she got put into the back burner and she waited until yesterday. I was like, I need to finish her before July is over, and I did. Moving on to the third part of this video is patterns that I either designed in July or that I made in July. And even though these were designed in June, I did finish off the last Mason moth in July, and I made it in, this is the Lomare yarn that I was talking about when I made the octos. It's very much like Kyla Craft's Naughty Ball Deluxe, and I paired it with, I believe this is Fable from Premier Yarns. I bought a skein of it with the idea to make a sort of turtle with it. I never got around to doing it, so I was like, okay, let me just use it for this pattern. And look, I love how it all pairs together. This pattern I designed in July, and she will be released next week, at least next week at the time that I release this video. And she is Skyler Spider. If you want to make her for free, please check out the description box below for the Market Mania Crochet-A-Long. Follow all the rules and you'll be able to get this pattern for free. If not, you can just grab her on my Etsy on August 8th. No, on August 10th. She'll be there August 10th. So this is how she looks in Parfait Chunky. The eyes are 25 and 20 millimeter. Then I made her in Bernat Blanket and basix chenille, and her eyes are 35 and, oops, this is so weird doing it here, 35 millimeter with 30 millimeter. And I added that nice like pop of orange to her headband. And this is my third Skyler Spider. She's very bright. She is, this is also Bernat Blanket, double-stranded, Hobie's Honey Bunny, and this is Basix Basix Chenille from Premier Yarns. Her eyes are also 35 and 30 millimeter, and the color is bubblegum. I don't know, I think this one is my favorite. So I also made 3 spiders, and I made 8 baby Danny Dinos. In June, I released Danny Dino, the original. He is bigger. He's about, if you make it in Parfait Chunky, he is about 14 inches long by like 8 inches wide, more or less. If you make it in a bigger yarn, he'll be bigger, of course. But I made him smaller. I did not change my yarn size. I just switched up the pattern. And I made him into a Parasaurolophus, a Stegosaurus, an Ankylosaurus, a Triceratops, a Dilophosaurus. Let me raise the crests a little bit. A T-Rex, and not one, but two brontosauruses. This one is the playful brontosaurus where the neck is propped up, and this one is the sleepy brontosaurus. In the pattern pack, you will also get a modified version of my Louisa blanket so that if you make the sleepy dinosaur, you'll be able to add your own blanket and tree star pillow. Now you can make whichever dinosaur and just make them sleepy by adding the blanket and tree star pillow. So 8 more dinosaurs. My home is full of dinosaurs right now for sure. Oop, it's raining, so if you hear a little shh in the background, it's because of that. Now let me clean this up before I give you the final count. Just imagine like a drum roll. In July, I made 65 plushies. By far, to date, the most makes for the year 2025. By far. I'm excited to see what will August bring because I do have some plans already. I do have to make a bit of plushies that I'm going to send out to be donated. I have a few pattern tests that I need to finish. I do need to design 2 patterns, but we'll see. We'll see what actually ends up happening over the month of August. Let me show you my glass jar. This is how full my glass jar ended up being because I was that productive. Twice I had to stuff it all down to make more space to add all the scraps that I have. Now, in my other plushies that I'll make in the month of August, I'll use this as stuffing. However, that is the end of today's video. If you liked this sort of content, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking the video. Every little bit helps. Check out the description box below to give these designers all the love that they deserve for their patterns. And that is going to be it for today. I'll see you next time on this channel. Have a very crafty day and take care. Bye.